It's water time. I can almost look like I'm walking normal now, which is awesome. I'm really excited about that because as of this morning, I still was kind of hunched over like a little Grammy. But by the end of today, I don't know what changed or what I did, but by the end of today, I was able to walk like upright. I could just walk, slow. As long as I was walking slow, I could look pretty normal. Like when robots or androids in movies try to look like a normal human, they're like, just take it one step at a time. That's basically what I look like. But it's been delightful. I was able to make dinner tonight, which was pretty good. I've never made pork chops before because we didn't eat pork in my house. So as an adult now, I went to the grocery store and I was looking at the meats and seeing what meats were on sale. And pork loin chops, boneless. I was about to say backless, like a dress. Pork loin chops, boneless, were on super sale for like one day. So I decided, you know what? I've never tried to make pork chops before. I'm going to try it today. So I bought some pork chops and some asparagus that was super tiny. I've never seen asparagus that was like so small, but apparently it's asparagus from Mexico. I don't know if it's like a completely different strain or what, but yeah, had asparagus and tomato pork chops, which basically just meant you brown the pork chop and then like really lightly just brown either side real quick and put it on another plate, and then you throw in some onion and some garlic and then oregano and sugar and chili powder and red pepper flakes. And then you stir that around and then you add in diced tomatoes. I got the diced tomatoes with oregano and all that because it was along the same flavor lines. So toss those in there and then Worcestershire sauce. And you let that boil for like a couple of minutes and then you put the pork loins back in and then pork chops. You put the pork chops back in and you just let it boil for like 15 minutes. And I don't know how, again, don't make pork very often. I don't know how to cook pork in a way where it isn't really tough. I feel like most of the time when I have pork, it's tough. And I don't know how to do that properly. But that's something that I can aim for. That's a new thing that I can try to learn how to do. Make pork and have it not be super tough. One of Sam's wisdom teeth hurts really bad. It's been hurting for the last couple of days. And so, of course, because the meat wound up really tough, like while we were eating it, he was just like, because his teeth hurt. And I was like, oh no. But the flavor was there, the flavor was great. So, and I was able to cook. Thank goodness. At a certain point today, I was like, maybe I can't cook again today. But I was able to. Last night, I gave up. I was going to cook last night too. And then I still was just hobbling real bad. So Sam and I decided to get Indian food and watch Game of Thrones finally because we hadn't watched the newest episode of Game of Thrones. So we did that, caught up on that, and then watched this movie called The Family, I think, with Susan Sarandon and Danny DeVito. And they are a mob family that's in the witness protection program and get shipped off to somewhere in France. I'm trying to remember the name of the place. Nope, can't remember. They get shipped off to France and then they're trying to like fit in. And it was pretty funny. It reminded me a little bit of In Bruges. The tone of it was a little bit In Bruges-y, just really like dry but also slice of life, not a bunch of forced comedy, just I don't know. It's the sort of movie that I think, much like In Bruges, some people would find a bit slow. But I enjoyed it. I liked it. And then, everything comes to a head at the end and blah, 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 blah. I won't ruin it in case you want to watch it. But watch that movie. We actually finished that movie today because we only watched half of it yesterday. And then the other half today during pork chops. I also bought artichokes because the artichokes were on super sale. I was like, but I figured that would be too much. It would be too far to have asparagus and artichokes in the same meal. Maybe. I would have been fine with it. Just establishing that right now. I'm also really sad. Okay, so for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you know that I bought like the really thick hardback versions of Uzumaki and the first two Vinland Sagas, which the first two Vinland Sagas was like, I mean, each one of these hardback volumes is like this. So it's not the same as like the regular volumes of the manga. But I wound up buying like these 3 big manga books. And today I went to the bookshelf to try and figure out where to fit them, and I don't know where to fit them. I don't know where they can go. I was like, you can go here, I think, maybe, and now this is all messed up. Well, maybe you can go over here. I don't know. Uzumaki's just like sitting on top of a shelf, like not in a shelf. It's just on top of things that are already in the shelf, you know? I've always done that strategy, though. When there's a book and I just don't know where to put it, I'm just like, well, just turn you on your side and put you on top of everything else. I've always done that. It's so bad. I was thinking about that today. Just like habits that I have that contribute to the clutter, and then the clutter stresses me out. And it's so silly because if I just worked at fixing those bad habits, there wouldn't be as much clutter to stress myself out with, right? And it's just little things like that. It's little moments where I make a decision of, I could put this down in a way that would make more sense and make my life easier later. Or I could make my life easier now and just not deal with it. That's like most of my life. But I'm trying to fix those things like little by little. Like I know that I tell lots of food going bad stories, but I mean, I don't leave food out in the living areas anymore. That's a huge step. I don't let cups just like build up forever. I take them into the kitchen. Even if I don't wash them right away, I take them into the kitchen. Little things like that. Such big steps for me. It's hard to explain how big of a step that is for me. But, oh man, speaking of books, Jeannie bought a book that's about like a ramen enthusiast, I think. I say I think because I have not actually physically looked at this book. She's just shown me like excerpts. But when she was done reading it, she goes, I know it'll take days, but you and I need to make ramen. And I was like, is that the next step? I feel like I need to up my game. You know, I need to actively seek more places, more ramen places, and then make more educated decisions about what places are actually the best ramen and try all different types. You know what I miss is udon. I haven't had udon in a long time. Just like my favorite udon is just the basic like udon noodles in miso broth with scallions, and that's it. Like that's my favorite thing in the world. And I haven't had udon, like just a simple udon, in a really long time. Maybe I need to go to J-Town. I could do that. I could make the trek to J-Town and get some good udon. I think the last time I had it actually was the last time I saw Trisha, which was a long time ago. Oh, I miss Trisha. Should hang out with her. Sometime. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, we did the podcast today. My power went out. Oh, I forgot about that story. My power went out randomly in the middle of the day, and I pay my power bill. So I called up the power company and I was like, hey, what's going on with this? And it turns out, and this makes a lot of sense because I get bills all the time that say 48-hour notice, you gotta pay now or everything's getting shut off. And I always ignore them because I know that I've paid my bills, you know? But apparently they have everything like kind of shifted in a weird way. Like they think that my due date is different from what my due date is on, like when I look it up on the website. It's confusing, but there was a weird disconnect that was happening between my bills and me actually paying. And whoever was submitting like whatever section of the company submits my bills was not getting the memo that I was paying. I don't know. Anyway, they turned it back on. Thank God. They were like, we'll turn it back on sometime today. And I was like, that doesn't help me. I have a podcast to be on right now. And so within like 15 minutes, they turned it back on, which was great. It was so fast. And got back on the podcast and we talked about stuff. And then, man, we read probably one of the best manga I've ever read in my life, called One Punch Man. It's not very long so far, but it's being put out right now. It's just great. It's like a fantastic kind of satire on shonen fighting manga, but at the same time is so perfect on its own. Like, regardless of the small parodies that you see within it, like, the humor is spot on. The art is incredible. It was so good. We read all of it so far. And apparently it's also a webcomic. Like, there's a webcomic that's going at the same time as the comic that's in Shonen Jump, or in the digital section of Shonen Jump. So I kind of want to go and read ahead on the webcomic. And I say read ahead because they're using the webcomic as a storyboard for the comic that's being drawn by like a super awesome professional drawer, you know? And apparently it's just like amazing. I really want to keep reading it, but at the same time I'm like, I don't want to spoil it for myself. But it's not technically spoiling it for myself. It's reading the original, you know? But I am really attached to that art. It's just so good. It's beautiful. But anywho, I'm going to go to bed. I hope you guys had an amazing day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. Mwah.